thinking about my ex and like how, like when I met him and like just how much everybody hated him, which is common for the people I date. Everybody always hates them. I don't fucking understand why. I don't really have really good friends, but the first night I met him, he kind of saved me from a bad situation, whatever. I don't even know exactly how we knew each other. It was weird. It was a weird, like, the universe just brought me to him, literally. Like, I was standing like 3 blocks, or three, like, literally, like, 3 fucking beach accesses away, which is like about a mile. And I heard somebody singing off in the distance. There was some creepy dude I just like walked down to the beach with from like a bar to like show the beach to because he said he'd never seen the beach. And I was like, well, this is the beach. This is the beach. This is the beach. And then he was like, yeah, well, my condos are. Well, if your condo is facing the beach, then bitch, you've seen the beach. And so he got fucking weird and he was like getting weird and kind of pushy. And I was like, I'm going to go this way. And I heard somebody singing, or and as I said that, it was like I saw like a shooting star, which I'm not lying. I literally did. I saw a shooting star. And I heard like music off in the distance. It was during Christmas. Actually, it wasn't even quite Christmas season. It was right before Halloween. And so it was like mid-October. But I heard music off into the distance. And I would say, like, if you're familiar with Jack's Beach, basically, I was, like, if you know where the pavilion is, I was, like, down basically where Ritz is, the Ritz, and then the Bricks, and, like, where, I was at the parking lot where Mangoes is, basically, but at the end of the parking lot is where I went over and walked over. So the music I heard was all the way down near the pavilion. So, like, that's how far it was. It was like a mile. And so I just heard music. And I was like, let's go listen to that. That's my friend Bob. I don't know where the fuck that word or that name or anything came out of my mouth from. I literally didn't even hear the music in 100%. I just knew it was Tool. I literally heard Tool music coming from that direction, and I was like, that's my friend Bob. What? And then we get up there, and it was literally this guy that I had met months prior, one night at Mango's Karaoke when me and Tyler, my daughter's father, had gone to karaoke, and I sang the Haley Reinhart version of Creep, and they were like, holy shit, I've never heard anybody sing that version before. That's fucking amazing. And they, like, literally loved it, and I thought he was gay, this person that I met. I didn't know his name. I just remember that he kind of looked like my daughter's father, or, sorry, he looked like my son's dad, which my son's dad's name is Rob or Bobby or whatever, but I've always known him as Rob because he doesn't really like going by Bobby because his name's actually Robert. His name's not Bobby. His name is Robert. So he likes going by his actual name, which is Rob. His name's not even actually Rob. It's like whatever. But it's like the Italian form of Michael is his real name, but he goes by Rob or Robert. His mom always called him Bobby. Because to her, she was his little Bobby. But this other person was not the same person. And I had met him, actually twice. I'd met him once at Mango's when this one old dude used to do karaoke there. It was a long time ago. Long time ago. When the old bitch used to own Mango's, when you could still smoke inside of Mango's and all this shit. It was still like a little dive bar. And there's actually a video online on Facebook, on one of Bob's Facebook pages from that night when he sang karaoke. Because it was like you were in the front and you could see, and there was like a pool table right there in the front, and then there was like karaoke in the back part. But that was the night I sang Creep, and I sang it like the Haley Reinhart version. He'd never heard it, and he was like, holy shit, I've never heard anybody ever sing that before. We just started talking about music, and he loved like Fiona Apple and Tori Amos and all these people, and like, but he had never really told anybody about it, and I literally thought he was gay. Anyways, and then the second time I met him was at Bo's. Same thing. He was in the back after I sang. I think I sang strumming my pain with his fingers, singing my life. It was the night that me and Tyler had gone up there and we were singing karaoke. Obviously, Tyler thought he was amazing, and I sang Killing Me Softly, but I like just did it all churchy girlish because I was all scared and whatever. And I was in the back and Tyler was inside, and I was sitting out back just hanging out, kind of smoking a cigarette, because every now and then I'll smoke a cigarette. And I asked somebody for a cigarette, and it was apparently Bob. And I remember him like sitting at the table, and he had his legs crossed, and I literally still thought he was gay. And he was just like, dude, that was fucking amazing, like blah blah blah. But so anyways, flash forward years later, I'm just on the beach, and this guy's creeping me out, and I was like, oh my god, that's my friend Bob. And I walk up to this beach access, and there is like, he's playing Tool and like just grunge fucking music from like the early 2000s, like late 90s, whatever. And the dude kept trying to kind of hit on me, and like Bob, when I first walked up to him, he looked at me like, who the fuck is this bitch? How the fuck do you know my name? But then he kind of understood the assignment and realized like, maybe this girl does know me, I don't know. And then like, but realized that I was trying to get rid of get rid of other dude. And so we just stood there and we were just singing, and we were both singing at like the top of our lungs, like trying to get like, look at this dude, like, get the fuck away, like, you obviously aren't wanted here. And then like I just like picked up his beer and like drank it. Like I pretended and acted like I knew exactly who he was. Like I really didn't, but I just did. And then like we just stood there and sang for like hours. Like hours. And then eventually it got kind of late. His speaker was dying, and I was like, hey, I'm going to go home. And he's like, well, I need it. He's like, well, I live right down the street. And I was like, well, he's like, I got like a joint. And I don't really smoke weed. And I didn't know at the time that he didn't really smoke weed, but he had this joint and he thought that I smoked weed. And so I thought he smoked weed. And so he's like, well, I got this joint if you want to come smoke weed with me. Like trying to flirt with me more and like hang out more. And I was like, well, sure. Neither one of us smoked weed. But he did have a medical, like, weed. And so I was like, all right, whatever. I was like, well, I can give you a ride home. I got, my car. I wasn't really drunk. I just kind of took some sips of his beer, and I hadn't drank anything before that. And so I was like, well, I got the car, and I have a trunk. It's a big trunk. I can put your bike in it. And so I gave him a ride home. And we were sitting on his floor, and we were playing Farkle, which is like this dice game, which is similar to Shut the Box, but like it doesn't have the box. We were sitting and playing that, and we both smoked the weed, and like I really do not smoke weed at all, and it was medical, but it was like good weed, so like I just kind of like fell asleep. And he was like, fuck, this bitch is asleep on my floor, and he couldn't wake me up because when I sleep hard. And so he had a futon in his room and a bed, and so like he put me up on the futon, and like I was asleep, but I was covered in like, my pants were like sandy all the way up to like past my knees, were like wet and sandy. And he's like, I don't want to get sick, I don't want to be sandy. So like he like woke me up enough that I like took off my pants, which I had on shorts. I always wear shorts, underwear, or like pants underneath, and so I had on underwear, but I like took my pants off, and he apparently hung them over his skateboard. And I was sleeping, and I woke up and I was like, where the fuck are my pants? But it was like, he was so like sweet. He's like, they're on my skateboard. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like I was just like not there, and I was like, where the fuck are my pants? And I was like yelling, and he's like, they're on my fucking skateboard. But I didn't do anything wrong. Like literally. And you just like connected. And then like It was like that connection was just like a spark that ignited like this flame that like I couldn't ignore. And then I went home that day and I realized how fucking trashed my house, and I realized how fucked up everything was. And Tyler just started screaming at me for no fucking reason. And I was like, dude, like, fucking stop. And he was like, they said what? Like, literally, that's what he kept saying. They said what? And he, like, grabbed me by my fucking throat and threw me up against the fucking wall. And he was like, they said fucking what? And, like, literally picked me up by my throat and threw me up against the wall. And I grabbed the closest thing I could, which was, like, this toy plane. And I fucking whacked him in the fucking head and got him off of me. And then I kicked him and told him to get the fuck away from me. And he went out the back door. And my son had woke up at that point and saw him doing what he did to me and, like, chased him outside. Like, why are you hurting my mommy? And Tyler grabbed my son by his throat. Not hard enough to really hurt him, but hard enough to put, like, marks on his neck. And Jasper came running inside crying because Tyler had obviously scared him and put his hands on him. And Tyler was confused because Tyler was schizophrenic and fucking weird. And, like, Jasper come running in. And I was like, I told Tyler straight up, I said, look, you got to get help. Like, we can't do this anymore. Like, I have to have friends. I have to have a life. I can't just fucking, like, live in this fucking bubble 24 fucking 7 or I'm gonna fucking die. And at the same time, like, I didn't lie to him. I told him exactly where I was. I told him everything. Like, but he didn't understand because he was literally like, they said what? But he wasn't talking about, like, that person. He was like, they. Because he always thought there was, like, vampires out in the world and, like, people had vampire teeth and all this fucking weird shit. Like, people don't get what I went through. The first doctor's appointment I ever went to with my daughter, with Tyler, he literally got so mad at me that he hit me because I didn't see the vampire teeth on the person at the counter. Like, we would go to the grocery store. And he left my daughter one time in the grocery store because he ran out because he thought that vampires were coming after him. Like, I used to set my phone up and the whole recording thing started when Tyler was hallucinating all the time. So I would record what was going on around us to show him that those things weren't really happening. Like, that's the thing when everybody started saying that, like, when I was hearing the sounds in the attic and I was hearing the sounds in the walls and things like that, like the radio waves and the electrical waves, the difference is that I would put in earplugs and I wouldn't hear them. Therefore, when I took the earplugs out, I could actually hear them. That was real. I would record it and I would get it on an audio or a recording. My children had said that they had heard it. When it came to me with my daughter's father, I would literally set up a recording and record things, and there would be nothing there. That is the difference between schizophrenia, neurological disorders, and physiological disorders, is that schizophrenia, psychological disorders, it's literally in your head. It's in your brain. If you put in earplugs, you still hear it. If you put on a recording and it's not there, but you still see it, that is psychological. If you put in earplugs and you don't hear the things that you're hearing, but then you take the earplugs out and you still hear it, that means it's fucking real. That could be a neurological issue in the sense that your nerves are sensing things that other people, and there might be somebody next to you that might not hear it because your nerves might be more sensitive than theirs. Like how a dog can hear a dog whistle, but most humans cannot. I can. I can hear dog whistles. I can hear tones and sounds that most people can't. It almost makes me feel like Elle from like fucking Stranger Things. Like it makes my fucking head feel like it wants to explode. But anyway, so yeah, so I come home that day, that happened. I kicked Tyler out. I told him to go the fuck away. It wasn't because I had met Bob. It had nothing to do with Bob at all. It had to do with the fact that, like, in a sense, yes, I had met Bob. Yes, I had had this catalyst come into my life that made me wake up and realize things about myself that were making me fucking miserable. And then I come home and those things were solidified by the way that I was fucking treated. By being choked and being thrown against a fucking wall, and by having my son's fucking throat grabbed by a grown-ass fucking man. And then instead of having people have my back, and instead of having people support me, I had people treat me like I was the piece of shit for kicking him out of my house. Which I didn't even kick him out. I just asked him to go to stay at his parents for a little bit because he needed to go to the fucking doctor and he needed fucking help. Because I wasn't going to do it anymore. But if he decided to grab all of his things and go to his parents' house and leave. And I said, okay, well, if you take all your things and you go, then you're gone. I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I had tried for 5 fucking years. I had tried. Like, I've never been engaged ever in my life. I was actually at one point going to ask Tyler to marry me. It was a little unconventional. I'm not a conventional person. But even that situation, I'm not going to go into it, but it was fucked up. His family was fucked up. That's the reason why he's fucked up. I asked his mom to help me basically set up, like, the biggest thing I'd ever planned. And she just, like, derailed it and ruined it. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm not going to do it. And anytime he tried to, like, come up with a plan that I thought he might propose to me, I shot it down. Because I would have said no, and I didn't want to fucking break his heart. Because no, I didn't want to marry him. No, never. Ever. I never wanted to be with him in the first place. I wanted to break up with him before I even found out I was pregnant with my daughter. I didn't purposely get pregnant with my daughter with Tyler at all. Like, I was literally on birth control. I tried to very adamantly not have a child with that man. Yes, I loved him. Yes, I thought he was pretty. Yes, I enjoyed his company. Yes, I thought that we had a slight connection, but at the same time, I also saw very huge fucking psychological red flags that I tried to avoid. Everybody always thought I was a piece of shit because when me and Tyler first got together, like, I sent Jasper back to Ohio. Nobody realizes that the reason that I fucking sent Jasper back to Ohio when me and Tyler first got together is because Tyler hurt Jasper. He grabbed him by his face and squeezed his face, and it hurt him. And so I was trying to get all these things to get Tyler out of my life and to be able to support Jasper 100% by myself because Rob was at the time not in the picture at all. So anyways, flash forward now. I just met Bob. Whatever. Bob is not Rob. Different people. Completely. Well, physically, completely. But Tyler had to go. And then I was happy. Like, I could literally just exist with somebody in 2 complete different parts of the house, and we could exist For the first time in my life, I felt intimate with somebody. He never hurt my kids. He never laid a hand on my children. He actually kind of was trying to, like, help Jasper because he could see that Jasper had possibly been something from Tyler. Like, honestly, he saw something in Jasper that he had went through that I don't fucking know about Tyler. I don't fucking know. But he helped in a lot of ways. And people don't realize that. Like, they hate Bob because he hurt me physically a few times. But his physical abuse to me was not intentional 99.9% of the times. Like, yes, we were going through a lot and he was healing trauma, this, that, and the other. But when he threw the phone and it hit me in the head, he threw it down a fucking hallway and it curved and, like, fucking hit me in the head. When he threw the cup, he was standing at Joe Fuller's front door and I was all the way in the living room and he threw a cup and it hit me in the head. Like, it wasn't like he intentionally was like, I'm gonna throw this directly at Jesse's head. No, that's way different than Tyler grabbing me by my throat and throwing me up against a wall. The only time that Bob ever intentionally hit me was when he smacked me across the face. And that time was fucked up because he did fuck my eye up. But at the same time, he was being... I have pictures from when I was up on the fucking parking garage that there was somebody down there talking to him, fucking with him. I don't know who it was, but they were. And they kept making him think that I was doing shit that I wasn't fucking doing because it was like Autumn Haley or somebody. That's why I can't go back to the pub, because she would dress in my clothes and go fucking out and pretend like she was me. My neighbors thought I was crazy and used to climb on my roof naked and all kinds of shit. I never did anything. Ever. Nothing. Ever. That was never fucking me. Ever. Or was the Haley bitch down the street, who did look a lot like me. And so did Autumn. I don't fucking know. But it wasn't me. And that's the thing that fucking pisses me off the most. Is that Becky and all these people hate fucking Bob because of whatever the shit that we went through. But they don't really know what we went through. They know what Autumn told them that we went through. They never fucking sat and talked to me. Ever. In my life. You know, Rory, the last time I hung out with her, she was trying to get on and on and on about fucking Bob, and I told her about the time that Thrasher pulled a gun on us. This guy, our friend Thrasher, right? Thrasher was, like, sick because he's a heroin addict, and, like, I had just given him $500 to let me and Bob stay there because we needed a place to stay, and he had a room, and I was like, I just got my income taxes, so I gave him $500 for a room to rent in his house. Because I thought that he was like, yeah, you know, you can stay here for like 6 months. I just need like $600 up front, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. So I gave him $600, which would have been $100 a day, a month for that room. I gave him $600. I gave Fuller a shit ton of money to get his fucking car fixed. Fuller was supposed to get Thrasher, apparently, stuff. Me and Bob didn't do that shit. We didn't do anything. We were clean and sober at that. Like, we weren't even drinking nothing at that point in our life. Like, we weren't doing meth. We weren't doing fucking drugs. We weren't doing nothing. At all. Like, people always thought we were. We were not. We didn't ever do... I never did heroin or anything like that. I don't fucking fully know what Bob did. But I know for a fact that fucking Thrasher and them were. And so Thrasher was sick. And he was fucking acting like a fucking psychopath. And I literally was just trying to keep the peace the whole fucking day. And I was like, look, dude, I'm trying to get a hold of Fuller. I'm trying to get a fucking hold of him. I don't know fucking where he's at. I don't fucking know what he's doing. Da, 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 da. And I literally think Fuller was purposely trying to push and push and push and push and push. And me and Bob were in the bedroom and I was trying to order pizza. And Bob did get kind of pissed. And he got fucking pushy with me and yelled at me. Because, like, as I said, people were pushing him to think things that weren't happening. And he yelled at me, and, like, Thrasher got got fucking freaked out. And, like, was walking around with a fucking... Kept thinking I was smirking at him. Because I have this. Kept thinking I was like, oh, are you making fun of me? Are you smirking at me? And I'm like... Bob's like, no, Jessie just has problems with her face. Like, she has Tourette's, and her face twitches like that. Like, leave her alone. And he kept saying that, and, like... He was walking around with a fucking gun all day. And so me and Bob were literally, like, on fucking eggshells all fucking day. Like, dude, I don't want to fucking be here. Like, I was trying to be nice because I'd known Thrasher for years. I didn't know he was that bad. I just needed a place to fucking stay. He had an extra room. I really wanted the Korg, whatever. I, like, locked myself in the room that we were supposed to be staying in. And then Thrasher's like, you can't just lock yourself in the room all fucking day. And I'm like, I just gave you $600 for have this room. Why the fuck can't I lock myself in the room? Acting fucking weird as fuck. So Bob comes in and was like, da, da, da. I just bought in, like, this journal for me and Bob to write back and forth in, so we would stop trying to verbalize our emotions to each other and we could write them. And I had wrote this big thing and he had wrote this big thing. I never got to ever read what he wrote me. It got left at the house. But he wrote for like 3 hours. He just sat and wrote in this book, and Thrasher got pissed because we weren't paying attention to him, and he was writing in this book, and I was just sitting here listening to music with my headphones on all by myself and not paying attention to him. And he pulled out a gun. And I was ordering pizza, trying to keep the peace, and I was just literally, like, laying there ordering pizza in the bed, like we were getting ready to go to bed, me and Bob. And, like, we had shut the door to the room that we had paid rent to stay in. Thrasher breaks the fucking door down with a fucking gun. I don't really remember much after that point. I just remember that I grabbed everything that I understand that now in my life, if there's ever a fire, I would be able to grab my children and my things and get the fuck out of that fucking fire within 2.5 seconds. Because I grabbed all of our things except for the book that Bob was at the time writing in. All of our things. And I ran the fuck out that door. As fast as I fucking could. Like, literally within 2 seconds, I had gotten all of the things that we had in that room into a basket and left the house. I was outside. I didn't even have my shoes on my feet. I had them in my hand, but I was out of the door, and I was down the street. So at least I know if there's ever an active shooter situation, I'm fucking out of there fucking quick as fuck. Did I stare there to make sure he was okay? I didn't give a shit. Honestly, I'm sorry to say that, but he's a grown-ass man. I did what I had to do. I have 2 children. Yeah. He apparently, which I can't say that Becky would ever do this for me, Rory would ever do this for me, anybody else in my life would ever do this for me, and I told even Rory about this, is that he went toe-to-toe with Thrasher. He put that book down. And he grabbed the gun. And he put it to himself. And he told Thrasher that if you're going to kill anybody, you're going to kill me. And then he put his forehead to Thrasher's forehead, and he sat there and he talked him down. And then Thrasher apparently aimed the gun at his head, and he once again talked Thrasher down. He literally, like, disabled a fucking psychotic fucking man from a gun and literally said, like, if you're gonna shoot anybody, you're never gonna shoot Jesse, you're gonna fucking shoot me. And literally would have taken a bullet for me. Like, that man would have literally taken a bullet for me. And had the ability to talk down somebody that had a gun to his motherfucking head. So when anybody in my life ever tells me that he's a piece of shit, or anybody ever tells me that I'm stupid because I love him, or I have loved him, or I still care about him, I don't give a shit, because would you? Would you have ever taken a fucking bullet for me? Would you have stood toe to toe with somebody with a gun to your motherfucking head? No, you wouldn't have. But he did. Just like when I got kicked out of my house, what did he do? He rode a goddamn bike with a fucking wagon and carried all of my shit to storage. All of it. Every single thing I own. Would you have done that for me? No. Would Becky have done that for me? No. Did they even care enough to talk to me that day? No. They didn't give a shit about me. Who sat with me every minute that I needed? Who was there when I was sick? Who was there through everything? That's what matters to me. You know, you've all abused me in some way, shape, or form, physically, mentally, emotionally. But what matters to me is who was there when I truly fucking needed it. Who was there when my mom died? Do you know that when my mom died, I called every single one of my friends? I even called my dad. And do you know the only person who answered? Even though I hadn't talked to him in a year, was Bob. And he talked to me for an hour and a half, and then somehow we got disconnected, and then that was the last time I talked to him, but he still talked to me for an hour and a half. Becky didn't even come over and give me a hug. All my dad said was, I know. Like, nobody gets it. Like, the last time me and him hung out, we went to get noodles, then we went to whatever, and, like, we went down the street. I don't fucking know what happened. We were just walking down the street, and he was being kind of a dick. He was talking about fucking Jessica coming on his pants and all kinds of shit. And then fucking some random fucking stranger from across the street comes over like, I'll take care of her. And he punches that dude in the face and took off. And I'm like, did you think I knew that? I don't fucking know who that guy was. I know who. I have no fucking clue who that was. The guy never did anything. And I'm sorry this came to this. I just wanted to talk about the fact that that motherfucker would have taken a bullet for me. I don't know anybody else in my life that would have ever done that. So when anybody hates on that person because I love them, yeah, they weren't the greatest. And yeah, they did some fucked up shit to me. But if you want to look at that person as my abuser, fuck no. I don't look at that. I'm the one who has dealt with this trauma, right? He is not my abuser at all. Joe Fuller. Michael Winghart. Tyler Harwood. Kiefer Thompson. Like, even Knoebel did some fucked up shit. But, like, it was different with Bob. Even Rob, my son's dad, did and said some fucked up shit. With Bob, it was like he was being twisted up in his brain by somebody else. It was like he was being manipulated into being who he was. Just like when his friend Steven moved away, he said, don't ever, ever, ever let him ever hang out with Jessica Wigfall again because she makes him an evil fucking bit of person and he is not himself. Don't ever let him hang out with her ever again. I don't care if she is the mother of his child. If she even is. And that's literally what Steven said. And I still to this day don't think that that child is his. I think it's that Ryan's. Because it doesn't even look like him. Yeah, they look similar. But there's ears, nose, eyes, certain things. He looks like Ryan Grady. He does not look like Bob. I'm sorry. The only kid that Bob has fathered, so to speak, that looks like him is his very first son, which, yes, looks exactly like him. There's no doubt in my mind on that one. He was even married to that woman. But at the same time, she even tear-jerked him. Like, I don't know. I don't even know exactly what this is going to, but basically, if anybody ever wants to understand my reasonings for my things, nobody gets it. But that motherfucker would have taken a fucking bullet for me. Would you?